titans of social thought, Karl Marx and Max Weber. In the grand tapestry of social theory, few names loom as large as Karl Marx and Max Weber. Their works, forged in the crucible of 19th and early 20th century Europe, have shaped the very foundations of sociology, political science, and philosophy. Yet while both sought to unravel the mysteries of society and historical change, their approaches, assumptions, and conclusions diverged in profound ways. This video embarks on a journey through their intellectual landscapes, comparing and contrasting their theories, methodologies, and legacies. In doing so, it will argue that while Marx and Weber offer distinct visions of society, their insights are most powerful when placed in dialogue, revealing the complex interplay of material forces and human meaning in the making of the modern world. Chapter 1. Intellectual and Historical Context. To understand Marx and Weber, one must first appreciate the worlds that shaped them. Karl Marx was born in 1818 in Trier, Prussia, into a middle-class family navigating the shifting sands of post-Napoleonic Europe. The continent was in turmoil, with the Industrial Revolution transforming economies and societies at a dizzying pace. Factories rose where fields once lay, and cities swelled with workers drawn from the countryside. The old order, with its monarchies and landed aristocracies, was under siege from new classes and new ideas. Marx's intellectual formation was steeped in the radical ferment of the young Hegelians, whose critique of religion and authority inspired him to seek the roots of human alienation not in heaven, but on earth. Max Weber, born nearly half a century later in 1864, entered a Germany that had unified under Prussian leadership and was rapidly industrializing. His upbringing in a wealthy, politically engaged family exposed him to the tensions between tradition and modernity, faith and reason. The intellectual climate of Weber's era was marked by the rise of the social sciences, the decline of religious authority, and the growing power of the bureaucratic state, where Marx saw the world through the lens of class conflict and economic transformation. Weber was fascinated by the subtler forces of culture, religion, and rationalization that shaped human action. Both men were products of their times, yet each responded to the challenges of modernity in his own way. Marx's world was one of revolution and upheaval, where the promise of emancipation seemed within reach. Weber's was a world of order and disenchantment, where the iron cage of bureaucracy threatened to stifle the human spirit. Their theories reflect these contrasting sensibilities, offering two of the most influential and enduring frameworks for understanding society. Chapter 2. Theories of Society and Historical Change. At the heart of Marx's work lies the materialist conception of history. For Marx, the engine of historical change is not the play of ideas or the actions of great men, but the development of the forces and relations of production. Human societies, he argued, are organized around the ways they produce and distribute the necessities of life. As these productive forces evolve through technological innovation, for example, they come into conflict with existing social relations, such as property rights or class structures. This conflict generates crises and ultimately revolutionary transformations. History, in Marx's famous formulation, is the history of class struggles. Marx's dialectical materialism adapts Hegel's dialectical method, but turns it on its head. Where Hegel saw the unfolding of spirit through the dialectic of ideas, Marx insisted that it is material conditions, work, property, technology, that drive the dialectic of history. Contradictions between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, between capital and labor, are not mere abstractions but lived realities, shaping the destinies of millions. The superstructure of law, politics, and culture, Marx argued, is ultimately determined by the economic base, though it can also react back upon it in complex ways. Weber, by contrast, approached society through the lens of interpretive sociology. He was less interested in grand historical laws than in the meanings individuals attach to their actions. For Weber, social action is shaped by values, beliefs, and intentions, as much as by material interests. His method of Verstehen, empathetic understanding, seeks to grasp the subjective motivations that drive human behavior. Rather than reducing history to the march of economic forces, Weber explored the ways in which ideas, especially religious and ethical ones, could shape the course of events. Weber's theory of social action distinguishes between instrumentally rational actions, value rational actions, effective actions, and traditional actions. This typology allows for a nuanced analysis of how individuals navigate the world, balancing efficiency, values, emotions, and customs. In his comparative studies, Weber showed how the Protestant ethic, with its emphasis on hard work and asceticism, helped to foster the spirit of capitalism in the West. Here, ideas are not mere reflections of material interests, but active forces in their own right. The contrast is stark. Marx sees history as a battleground of classes, driven by material necessity. Weber sees it as a tapestry of meanings, woven from the threads of culture, religion, and rationality. Yet both recognize that society is not static, but in constant motion, shaped by forces both seen and unseen. Chapter 3: Class, Power, and Stratification. No comparison of Marx and Weber would be complete without examining their theories of class and power. For Marx, class is the fundamental axis of social life. In capitalist society, the division between those who own the means of production and those who sell their labor is absolute. The bourgeoisie extracts surplus value from the proletariat, generating wealth for the few and misery for the many. This exploitation is not merely economic, but permeates every aspect of life, from politics to culture. The state, in Marx's view, is the executive committee of the ruling class, enforcing its interests through law and violence. Weber, while acknowledging the importance of class, offers a more complex and multidimensional account of social stratification. He distinguishes between class, status, and party as distinct sources of power and inequality. Class refers to one's economic position in the market, but status is rooted in social honor and lifestyle. While party refers to the ability to influence collective action through political organization, in Weber's schema, a wealthy entrepreneur, a respected priest, and a powerful politician may each wield different forms of power, not reducible to economic class alone. This distinction allows Weber to analyze societies where status or political power outweighs economic wealth, and to explore the ways in which different forms of inequality intersect and reinforce one another. Where Marx sees the state as a tool of class domination, Weber sees it as a site of bureaucratic rationalization, where authority is exercised through rules, offices, and expertise. The implications are profound. Marx's vision is one of inevitable conflict, leading to revolution and the abolition of class. Weber's is one of competing interests and shifting alliances. Where power is dispersed and contested across multiple arenas, both recognize the reality of inequality, but they diagnose its causes and remedies in fundamentally different ways. Chapter 4: Religion and Ideology. Perhaps nowhere is the contrast between Marx and Weber more vivid than in their treatment of religion. For Marx, religion is the opium of the people, a tool of ideological domination that masks the realities of exploitation and suffering. Religious beliefs, he argued, are products of material conditions. It's offering consolation in a world of misery while reinforcing the status quo. The critique of religion is, for Marx, inseparable from the critique of society itself. Weber, on the other hand, saw religion as a dynamic and creative force. In his classic study, The Protestant Ethic and the Spirit of Capitalism, Weber argued that religious ideas could transform economic behavior and social institutions. The Calvinist doctrine of predestination, with its anxiety over salvation, fostered a disciplined, rational approach to work and wealth that helped to give birth to modern capitalism. Here, religion is not merely a reflection of material interests, but a catalyst for historical change. This difference reflects their broader theoretical commitments. Marx's materialism leads him to see ideas as secondary, shaped by the economic base. Weber's interpretivism allows for a more autonomous role for culture and belief, yet both recognize that religion is a powerful force, capable of shaping the destinies of individuals and societies alike. Chapter 5: Methodology and Epistemology. The methodological divide between Marx and Weber is as significant as their substantive disagreements. Marx aspired to a scientific socialism, grounded in the laws of historical materialism. He believed that the dynamics of capitalism could be analyzed with the rigor of natural science, revealing the contradictions that would ultimately lead to its downfall. His method is structural, seeking to uncover the deep forces that shape social life. Weber, by contrast, was skeptical of grand laws and deterministic models. He insisted that the social sciences must attend to the meanings and intentions of actors, using methods appropriate to the study of human behavior. His concept of ideal types, analytical constructs that capture the essential features of social phenomena, reflects this commitment to interpretive understanding. Weber's methodological individualism stands in contrast to Marx's structuralism, emphasizing the agency of individuals within the constraints of social structures. Yet both were acutely aware of the challenges of objectivity and bias in social research. Marx warned against the mystifications of ideology, while Weber famously distinguished between facts and values, urging scholars to recognize their own presupposition. Their debates over method continue to animate the social sciences, shaping the ways we study and understand the world. Chapter 6. Legacy and Contemporary Relevance. The legacies of Marx and Weber are as contested as their theories. Marx's influence has been immense, inspiring revolutions, social movements, and critical theories across the globe. His analysis of capitalism, alienation, and class struggle remains a touchstone for scholars and activists alike. Even as the failures of 20th-century communism have prompted new readings and revisions of his work, Weber's impact has been equally profound, shaping the disciplines of sociology, political science, and organizational studies. His insights into bureaucracy, authority, and rationalization have illuminated the workings of modern institutions, while his comparative studies of religion and economy have opened new vistas for research. Weber's skepticism of grand narratives and his emphasis on complexity and contingency resonate strongly in our pluralistic, disenchanted age. Today, the dialogue between Marx and Weber is more vital than ever. In an era of rising inequality, resurgent populism, and global crises, their theories offer indispensable tools for understanding the forces that shape our lives. Marx reminds us of the enduring power of material interests and class conflict, while Weber alerts us to the significance of culture, meaning, and organization. Together, they challenge us to think critically, to question received wisdom, and to seek deeper explanations for the world we inhabit. Conclusion: the enduring dialogue. In the final analysis, the works of Karl Marx and Max Weber stand as monuments to the power of critical thought. Their theories, forged in the fires of modernity, continue to illuminate the structures and meanings of social life. While their approaches diverge, Marx's materialism and structuralism, Weber's interpretivism and methodological individualism, their insights are most fruitful when placed in conversation. For it is in the interplay of material forces and human meanings of structure and agency that the true complexity of society is revealed. To study Marx and Weber is not merely to rehearse old debates, but to engage with the deepest questions of our time.